Started in 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. All right, so like always, open the class up for any questions. All right, go ahead.
Daniel 7 and 9.
Okay.
It's like a color scripture or you know, giving the identity. So
Right.
like, I'm trying to figure out, is this YAHWH or is it the Most High?
Read it.
Daniel 7 verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit.
It's the Most High.
It's the Most High?
Yeah. Ancient of Days.
Garments?
Yeah. The Ancient of Days is talking about the Lord. I mean the Most High.
So slightly if I may.
Go ahead.
When it says, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool.
Right.
His form was like a fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
Right.
What is his wheels as burning fire?
His wheels is burning fire, meaning his read it again, the whole verse.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
Go ahead.
And the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
You know what the wheels is. Go ahead. The chariots.
That's what he's talking about?
Yeah. His wheels is burning fire, just like the scriptures say. It's gonna be a flame within a flame. Or not a flame within a flame, but a cloud enfolding itself like fire, like amber.
Okay, so this image right here is telling you, okay, so Daniel's having a vision, and he's seeing the Most High on his throne with chariots. Yeah,
you see the chariots too, the wheels. Like the scriptures say the wheel, like you know what I'm saying, like we call out the vehicles as the wheels.
Right.
You understand? The wheels in this sense says like Ezekiel said, a wheel within a wheel. That's what I meant to say. A wheel within a wheel. It's talking about the chariots of fire. Cause they look like amber. Like that scripture, I forget where it is.
So this image right here, this is a scripture describing how the Most High look.
It's not the Most High. This is a vision. He's dreaming this. You understand? He's showing you what the Lord would look like. He's not seeing the Lord himself. It's just a vision that represents the Most High.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
SHALAM.
Go ahead.
Would that be like Peter had a vision of Christ?
Yeah, exactly. Or Paul. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like they're not seeing it, but they is seeing it. You know what I'm saying? It's just representing something else. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one more.
Come on with it.
Job 30 and 30.
It's
another color scripture. But I want to be sure.
Now that ain't no color scripture. The one in Daniel, that's not no color scripture. You want
Daniel 7 and 9?
Yeah, you want it's a color scripture, but it don't talk about color.
Right, it's really an identity, right?
Yeah, like you talking about the hair of wool.
That's what I want.
Okay, yeah.
Let me take back to saying color.
Yeah.
Okay. This right here, Job 30 and 30.
Go ahead.
My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat. He's saying, like, I know people will try to say, like, he's saying my skin is black upon me and my bones are burned with heat. How do you, he's talking about literally the color of the skin, right?
Right.
Okay, how do you, if somebody's trying to say that how do you know that? And it's not because he's been burned or something. You know, like, how do you break this down?
How do you battle them? If they saying that they saying that he's not black.
Yeah. That's not like they said. They would say like this is not what. It's not saying that the skin is black. It's saying like it's almost like similar to I'm paraphrasing, but it's another verse who talks about they are black like the.
You talking about what Jeremiah said for the hurt for my people? I'm hurt. I am black.
Like
like that.
Yeah.
So you saying
people would try to say that was not necessarily the color; it was how you felt.
Yeah, it was a condition.
Yeah.
And you saying, how do you prove that this is talking about not a condition but how he looked? Right. So this is what you would do. Like if you was at camp or something, this is what you would do. So you read the scripture.
Mm-hmm. Oh, read it again.
Yeah, read the scripture.
Okay. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat.
So now they saying, I'm gonna be the devil's advocate. Mm-hmm. So now they saying, well, that's talking about condition. That's not talking about his skin. What would you do?
Either get another precept or read a couple of books.
You stay right there. Read it again. This is what you would do.
Well, it says my skin.
There you go. Read it again.
My skin is black upon me.
You read the scripture one time. They saying it's something else. Then you would go back, read it again.
My skin is
my
black.
What?
My skin.
My what?
Oh, okay. My skin is.
Yeah, and that's how you do that.
Come on.
All right. What else?
So,
go ahead.
I got 2 Timothy 3 and 8.
3 and 8. All right. Come on.
Now as 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 8. Now as Jan and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds, reprobate concerning the faith. My question would be, who is Jan and Jambres? That was the question.
Well, you say you at work? First, 2 Timothy
chapter 3, verse 8.
2 Timothy 3, verse 8. Now Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses. And okay. They in the Old Testament. Okay. You got a Bible dictionary on you? Look it up in there. I want to say it's Moses' sister. What was her name?
Moses' sister name was
Miriam, right?
Miriam.
Yeah, look it up in the Bible dictionary, Janice. See if it's in there.
Whenever they was complaining about the manna, eating manna.
Okay, it is.
Okay. That's it's the manna part?
No.
Okay, read what it said.
Jannes, a magician who withstood Moses and Aaron by duplicating some of their miracles. Paul, who was familiar with rabbinical tradition, named him along with Jambres as types of evil men of the last day.
Okay, is these when he say magicians? I believe it's talking about when he went to Pharaoh.
When they would come, when they did the snake, he made a snake.
Yeah,
something like that.
Right. He turned his staff into a snake, and they did some tricks too. We was just talking about that to the brother. Go ahead.
What verse is that? Whenever.
What we just read?
No, the one with when they went to Pharaoh. I don't know exactly.
Oh, that verse. What is it? Exodus.
Exodus.
Should have had a verse like right there.
No, it's just talking about 2 Timothy. Because it didn't give a name back in the
right, it didn't get no name.
Back in the Exodus. It just said the magician.
Yeah, you can just find that on your own. Yeah, it ain't hard to find.
That was the only question I had.
All right. Anybody else? No questions? All right. No questions online. Let me check YouTube. Okay. That's 7 and 11. Exodus 7 and 11. Yeah, it's where sister put it up there. Try that. All right, so y'all ain't got no more questions? All right, so I'm gonna get into the topic. You understand? I'm gonna get into this book called The Black Image in the White Mind. It's a book that was written over 100 years where white people were arguing with each other about who black people were and what to do with black people. Like, what was their destiny? What we gonna do with these black people that we got as slaves? You understand? You got go ahead. The Black Image in the White Mind. It's a real good book. It's a compilation of reports, basically. You understand? So you had the abolitionists, and then you had the colonialists. Abolitionists was like the nice people that was, it was nice to black people, quote unquote. The colonialists, they was like your racist people that was for slavery, which really both of these people are against black people. You understand? Like, it's kind of like how you got people who are pro animals. You understand? They love animals, and then they stand up for animals. They'll put you in jail for animals or whatever. And then you got people like Michael Vick who don't give a damn about animals. He'll fight a dog quick. So like the abolitionists would be like the people who love the animals, and Michael Vick would be like the colonialists, right? So now, about these animals, how can you prove that neither one of them are really for black people? Because remember, we weren't considered men during that time. We were considered 3/5 of a man. So now, using the analogy that I just gave, how can you put them together to where you can understand that even though these abolitionists act like they for black people, they really not? Using the analogy with the animals I just gave you. You understand the question?
I agree.
Okay, like, so the abolitionists, right? They think about it like animals. You got people who are pro animals and they love animals, and they'll report you for abusing animals, and they love animals. And then you got the colonialists. Those people are like your Michael Vicks. They don't give a damn about animals. They'll fight a dog quick. How can you prove that neither one of them are for black people, even though one of them acts nice and the other one acts mean? How can you prove neither one are for black people? Go ahead.
They still think of you as an animal. Both of them.
Thank you. They still think you as an animal, and then it's something else. You right, but it's something else. You don't know?
And really, it's like,
Go ahead.
They really don't do anything to give back what you're supposed to have.
Which is what?
I won't say freedom.
Don't think covenant. Think us as being Israel. What are we supposed to have on the earth? You almost there. You got your hand up?
You're supposed to have meaning or power.
Power.
We're still second-class citizens.
Come on, you there? How do you know that they? How do you know that they are not really for black people, even though they're nice to us?
Because they still overrule us.
That's it. They both. One of them is nice to you, like the dogs, right? Yeah. Some of them love dogs, Some of them hate dogs and they fight dogs, but neither one of these parties want dogs over them. See what I'm saying? And that's how the abolitionists were. That's how liberals are. They act like they, you know, for your liberation and this, that, and the other. Yeah, but they don't really want you to rule over them. They just kind of want you to be liberated. You understand? But our covenant is to rule over the nations. Go ahead.
They want you to be liberated as long as they can still tell you what to do.
Exactly. They want you to be a comfortable slave. You understand what I'm saying? So now you got, this book is full of those type of arguments. You understand? From colonialists and abolitionists. Go ahead.
It's like North versus the South.
Right. In the Civil War, the North and the South, neither gave a damn about black people. They was just trying to see exactly what to do. You understand? All right, so we're gonna start at page 60. Start at page 60 where it say the biblical curse of Ham. I'm gonna share my screen. Let me see. Thank God. So, should be seeing this right now. All right, so you see where it says the curse of Ham, the biblical curse of Ham, down at the bottom of the page. Yeah. Page. It's the numbers of the actual pages.
Okay, that's what I was.
Not on the PDF page, but
That's what I was.
All right, read that for me. Right here. If you're online, you should be able to see the book we reading, and I'm highlighting where you're reading it at.
The Black Image in the White Man by George M. Frederickson.
Mm-hmm.
Page 60. The biblical curse of Ham could serve almost as well.
Mm-hmm.
And in the hands of writers like Matthews Estes and Hosea Priest,
mm-hmm.
it became a judgment of God.
Read on.
Which placed the black man virtually beyond the pale of humanity.
So now they coming from a standpoint of we Hamites. And they saying if these people are Hamitic, then they deserve to be slaves. They're destined to be our slaves here in America. That's if we Hamites. You understand? Jump to page, what I say, 61? 61, where it says William L. Lancey.
All right.
Read that. This latter
view, which stated, succinctly
mm-hmm.
by the Alabama fire eater
mm-hmm.
William L. Yancey
mm-hmm.
before a northern audience in 1860.
Go ahead.
Your fathers and my fathers built this government on two ideas.
Go ahead.
The first is that the white race is the citizen
mm-hmm.
and the master race.
Go
and
ahead.
the white man is equal of every other white man.
So now that's in the Constitution. And that explains what that means in the Constitution, where it says all men are created equal. Who knows what that really means? Go ahead. All white men are created equal. They was having a struggle with where America came from. You understand? We not no different. We want to be independent from Britain. You understand? We equal just as much as you, no matter how poor we is. We want our rights to have our own government, this, that, and the other. So they put in their Constitution that all white men are created equal. You understand? That has nothing to do with black people. That's why it says that the white man is the superior race and black people are the inferior race. All of that is in the Constitution. All white men are created equal. And then it also says that, you understand, that the black man is 3/5 of a man. Still in the Constitution today. Read on.
The second idea is that the Negro is the inferior race.
Right, that's 3/5 of a man. Go ahead.
In the same year, a writer in the Southern Literature Messenger made a similar point in the historical analysis of slavery.
Read on.
Unlike the paternalistics, he condemned ancient slavery and medieval seldom.
Right. So what you on page 62?
I'm on 62.
Yeah, so you can drop that. So now that's the whole issue. This whole book is about, you understand, trying to figure out what to do with black people. If we really superior, who are these people? So now in this book, they did a study on the cranium, on the shapes of skulls, and they're gonna find out something about black people that they never knew, according to I forget the term you call the study craniums, but it's in here. I think it's like craniology or something like that, where you study skulls and you can be able to tell where that people come from, what skull you study. So now they studying these skulls. Jump to page 75. 75, where it says let's see. Bear with me. The racial significance. Oh shit. Damn, your phone got about 6 ringtones. Yeah, make sure y'all phones on vibrate. What the hell?
Racial significance.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this. What is this? All right. Okay. All right. You calm. Good night. Let me get this computer figured out. It's jumping all over the place. Yeah, why is, like, check this out. See, like when I try to scroll down right here, it just shoots. Okay, now it's going control. All right, I got it. Bam. All right. All right. So you see where read that first sentence on 75.
Come.
Read. It's the matter of fact. Where I tell you to go, the racial significance. You see that? All right, let me see. Go ahead.
The racial significance of Egyptian tomb inscriptions.
So now they studying Egypt now. These is white men who studying the skulls of Egyptians, and they studying the tombs of Egypt to see who we are. Read on.
In Crania Egyptica.
That's the study of craniums, the study of skulls. Read on.
Published in 1844.
Go ahead.
Morton pointed out that both cranial and archaeological evidence showed that the Egyptians were not Negroes.
Well, what?
were not Negroes.
Go ahead. In 1844. In Crania, it's spelled AEGYPTIACA. It's a study of skulls.
What was his name?
Morton, Morton. Morton pointed out that what?
Pointed out that both cranial and archaeological evidence.
So according to the skulls and according to what's on the walls, the archaeological literature, what's in the stones, you understand? According to that evidence, go ahead.
Showed that the Egyptians were not Negroes.
That the Egyptians were not Negroes. Go ahead.
As abolitionists and
abolitionists. Go ahead.
And colonizationists had maintained.
Go ahead.
And that in fact blacks have been relegated to the same servile position in ancient Egypt as in modern America.
You understand? They telling you that we were not the Egyptians, we were the slaves in Egypt. The same way the scriptures tell us what? That we were the Israelites in Egypt. The same people that the Lord freed from the hands of the Egyptians. They know that that's going to happen to America. You understand? Read on. Where you at?
More than fine.
Okay, yeah, you can stop there. So yeah, that's one thing out this book that shows that black people are not Africans. You understand? Showed that we not Egyptian, and it showed that we were the slaves. This was according to the skulls. You understand? The skulls that they was digging up, because you know they was burying everybody in them damn pyramids. That's what they really are. Them pyramids is basically funeral homes. You understand? Burning up them skulls, doing tests on the skulls, seeing that there was a difference between skulls. Some of them were Egyptian, some of them were totally different people. Go ahead.
So why is it that if it's information like that, like why is it that Kemetic people still attach themselves to Egypt? If it makes a distinction that Egyptians had a totally different skull from slaves.
That's a good question. But
where to cut?
That's where you cut them at. So but now they don't know about this. The only reason black people think that they is Egyptian is because the white man is because of the white man. You understand? He threw that. The white man loved Egypt, and the white man threw Egypt in black people's faces. And I think in the 60s, what was the brother name? Not the brother, a heathen, the Ethiopian dude. Dr. Ben. Dr. Ben would take black people to Egypt. You understand? Showing them Egypt and teaching them Egypt just because the white man was into it. But really, and that's what we got that from. But really, we was never Egyptians. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you think a lot of the confusion that's some good info right there. That's why I'm writing it down, because that's history and in archaeology. So is it that people are kind of simple-minded because it's almost like the thing with the Moors, because they thought they almost make Moors like they're a separate type group of people, but really Moors was just the name that people call a black person.
Right.
So is it the confusion coming because you got all these different nations, but they look the same?
That's part of it. Because Egypt was great. You understand? Egypt was a great civilization. And because black people don't really have an identity, the minute they see that the Egyptians were dark skinned and they were a great civilization, you understand? Okay, I'm gonna latch myself onto this. Because you got also dark skinned people now who put the plate in their lip.
Right.
Take the plate. Yeah, they dark skinned. They take the plate out, wrap the lip around the whole baby head. You understand? Ain't nobody attaching themselves to that. You understand? It's because black people want a sense of royalty and to feel like they are part of something, to give them a sense of self-esteem, to give them a sense of identity. The problem is every dark-skinned people ain't the same. Go ahead.
Why is it that I notice also that why is it that they think Israelites, this is a part of it, I've heard many people say this, why do they think that Israelites were just sheep herders?
Because we were.
Well, we were, but they think that we were just always like a nomadic people. And we just were sheep herders. Now, true enough, we were sheep herders, but we was moving for reasons.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like that's all we did. We established places, but it was reasons we were captivity, things like that. Or the Lord telling you need to leave. You know?
Right.
But I don't understand, like they almost use Israelites. I guess it's always happened in history, but they always compare Israelites to the lower grade people.
Okay, part of that is true. Because we're low grade people now. Like the way we've been is how we always been. Only time Israel was really glorious was when David united the kingdom and we was ruling. That was really the only time Israel was at its full potential. You understand? But other than that, go ahead.
What about King Solomon?
Yeah, King Solomon, King David, around that whole kingship. That's the only time we was at, but we was even in that we was wicked as hell. Right. That's why when you read in the book of Acts, the disciples asked Yahawashi, is you coming back to, because they met Yahawashi again after he died. And then he rose and he came back, and they was like, so is you coming back now to restore the kingdom of heaven to us? He was referring to that time when David was ruling, when all the tribes was united and everybody, we had our kingship. You understand? That was really the only time Israel was just ruling.
Oh, wait a minute. So they thought they was getting the kingdom back at that time?
Yeah.
They thought they had it back?
Yeah, they thought that's why they asked him that.
Okay, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's why he asked him, but he was like, nah, y'all got a whole mission to do. You understand? I ain't coming back to restore the kingdom. Y'all got a whole ministry to do. Y'all gotta put it in work. You understand? Yahawashi left, he went back into the chariot, to the so-called UFO. You understand? But that was really the only time we was ever in our full potential, was who we supposed to be. Other than that, Israel has always been the sheep herders. That's why in Deuteronomy 7, he said, I didn't choose you because you was more in number and more mightier. You understand? He chose Israel because we was the smallest amongst everybody else, and he still chose us. See what I'm saying? So we ain't never. So what they saying is true. We were sheep herders, but the thing is, we were wise. You understand? That's what. Yeah. Even though, like, even now, even we're at this low state now, we still more wise than everybody. That's why you got your Michael Jacksons of society, your Michael Jordans of society. Everybody who invented everything in America to operate was black. Even though we on this low level, we bring the civilization to all of these societies, as well as Egypt. Before us, Egypt didn't even know how to build a chariot. They didn't have chariots in Egypt. When we came, they started building chariots and domesticating horses. You understand? Abraham brought all kind of mathematical intelligence to their society. You understand? Before Abraham, they didn't do none of that, the Egyptians. And you can read the Josephus and find it out. Josephus say that about Abraham.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Because I'm sitting here thinking about Joseph. He saved Egypt.
He saved Egypt. You understand? Told them what to do, because you finna have a famine. That's because they didn't really understand how to do that. We brought all the intelligence to them, the civilization to them, but we was still a base people who was low, meaning poor and humble. You understand? We ain't bother nobody. We just wanted to try to worship our God and try to do what we want. You know what I mean? Try to stay to ourselves, stay separate. But in today in the world, the law of life is shit. You understand? The survival of the fittest. You understand? You get taken advantage of if you weak. You understand? Go ahead.
Sorry. If I may, most of the people who talk about these tithes today, like you said, they want to be in the famous ranks. They want to be attached to something that's famous, something that's but they don't never want to be like this is my question always to easy tithe people is easy tithe. And but I always ask them, why y'all don't claim put?
Exactly.
Why y'all don't claim what's the other brother? Cain.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Why they don't claim them? They want to claim the ones who were on top at the time.
Exactly. Egypt.
Egypt.
You got Egyptians. You got the Ethiopians was ruling. You got all of these. Like Africa's full of countries and ethnicities and tribes, but it's always Egypt. You understand? But that was not the only place that was, flourishing. The reason that we black people are so into Egypt is because of the white man. He gave that to us.
It's like
go ahead.
He's amazed by Egypt.
Yeah.
Because he takes their traditions, their symbols, he uses it over here.
Exactly. This whole country is built off of the Freemasons wanting to be like the ancient Egyptians. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
To be able to keep us in bondage the same way as they did in Egypt.
Exactly. That too. You understand? So now I got another book, Babylon and Timbuktu. If you're familiar with the I.S.U.P.K, I'm sure you're familiar with this book. But let me get you to read that, Trooper, where it says in the year 65 BC.
Kind. In the Babylon, from Babylon to from Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor, page 84. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state.
So that somebody else give me when YAHANNA fled. When the angel came to Joseph and told YAHANNA and told Joseph to flee to Egypt. Familiar with that? Not, I'll find it for y'all. It's far. Yeah, I need that one too. Luke 21. Go ahead.
Matthew 1:13.
That sound right. Matthew 1. No, I don't think that's it. No.
Matthew, sir, you said when angel came to Joseph and told him to go to Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mind if I read it?
It's Matthew 1:13? Yeah, okay, read it.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt. Yeah,
that's it. Read it again.
Matthew 1, verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise, and take the young.
Come on.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared. Oh, it's 2 and 13.
All right, go ahead.
The angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, "Arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him."
Right. So an angel told Joseph to take Yahawashi and flee into Egypt. You understand? And then when you read Luke, the 21st chapter, where it said, where Yahawashi said, "Flee into the mountains," you know what that is? Read that scripture.
Luke chapter 21, verse 21.
Go ahead.
Then let them that which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
You understand? This is Yahawashi prophesying what we about to read in Babylon and Timbuktu. Those mountains are Egypt, because that's the closest place to Jerusalem that they could flee to without getting killed or enslaved. And also they could blend in with the Egyptians, because both Israelites and African people are both dark-skinned people. You understand? Read on.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein.
Right. So he going into what's going to happen when the Romans come, which we about to read in history when it happened. You understand? That's why not only history proves that black people are not Africans and are the Jews, but biblical prophecy proves it as well. So give me the book Babylon and Timbuktu again.
Babylon and Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor, page 84. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter.
So they put an end to Jerusalem. They put an end to being a Jew. We in Jerusalem, the Romans came and chased us out of Jerusalem. Go ahead.
During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people.
Go ahead.
During the period of Pompey to Julius, it had been estimated that over 1 million Jews flew into Africa.
Fled into Africa. You understand? The same place that Yahawashi was took when he was a baby, into Egypt, into Africa. You understand? How many Jews?
1 million Jews.
Go ahead.
Fled into Africa.
You know?
Fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery.
So that's how we got into Africa. You understand? We was taken from Africa, but that's not where we originally were. You understand? We was taken from the west coast of Africa, but black people in America were not originally from the west coast of Africa. We was in Jerusalem first, and we were chased out of Jerusalem in 70 AD, and we migrated to Africa. You know? Yeah,
Is that still page 84?
Yeah. You know?
The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves.
The what?
The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves.
The slave trade was full of Jews. Read on.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth unto the other.
You can skip that part. Read on.
This prophecy and all the residue of the prophecies contained in Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68, befell the black Jews after they disobeyed the laws of God.
Right. So he referring to the scriptures now. When you read Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, you'll be able to find out how we know that black people in America are the real Jews. You understand? It should be a part where it says that when they brought us over here, that it was kings and priests and nurses and doctors and all of those who were civilized. Do you see that part? It might not be on that same page.
No.
It might be like a few pages after that, like maybe 90 or something like that. If you can't find it, don't worry about it. But in that same book, it tells you that when they put us on them slave ships, we wasn't just, naked like they show on movies. We wasn't just naked and, you know what I'm saying, dumb looking and all of that. we were looking like royalty. You understand? We was smart. We had civilizations on the west coast of Africa. You see it? All right, read it.
Page 90.
Go ahead.
The black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes.
The Jews had an advantage over the people who were actually Africans. Go ahead.
They carried their culture, history, laws, and written records with them.
You understand? We carry all of that with us, which is the Bible. You understand? And other historic books. Go ahead.
This assured them that a constant precedent for the development of a higher social organization.
Read on.
Because of the stability of the black Jew culture, the Jews were not absorbed into the noise population.
Meaning we stayed to ourselves. You understand? We followed our culture so hard that we wasn't intermingle with Africans. That's why, you understand, at the feast where everybody says about, well, you was in Africa, well, you got raped by the Africans and y'all intermingled with the Africans, so y'all mixed. You understand? Israel knew what law. We ain't supposed to mix with the other races. You understand? We stayed to ourselves when we was on the west coast of Africa, so we didn't mix with the Africans. Read on.
In fact, the Jews absorbed some of the native tribes.
Go ahead.
The Jews made use of every opportunity. They were industrious and skillful people.
So when it says they absorbed the native tribes, what does that mean? Go ahead.
They just came into their culture. They become part of their nation.
They basically enslaved them. They captured them. Go ahead.
We made them observe our laws.
There you go. The same thing what you were saying. Yeah, it was the same thing. You understand? But don't think of it like we having sex with them and all of that. Right. It's how you would have a slave, because you know that's in the law. How you would treat a heathen. You understand? Working for you. Go ahead.
They were an industrious and skillful people. In the Jewish garden states were found kings, princes, governors, generals, secretaries, treasurers, revenue agents, judges, architects, engineers, doctors, historians, language interpreters, mathematicians, jewelers, sculptors, masons, carpenters, painters of art.
You understand? This list go on and on. You understand? We was all of that on the west coast of Africa. We wasn't just swinging out of trees and running around with loincloth. You understand how they try to put it in the movies? Like we was just, dumb as hell. And that's what white people say. They say you should thank the white man because we saved you from being over there swinging from them trees. When we was civilized more than anybody else. You understand? We had the doctors and the jewelers and the architects and the lawyers and the secretaries and all of that. You understand? We wasn't just, like the Africans. We had plenty of civilization. Read on.
Goldsmiths, leather workers, potters, armorers, saddlers, blacksmiths, agriculturists, etc.
Go read on.
The black Hebrew kings of Ghana had 2 titles.
You understand? So you can drop that. You understand? We was doing all of that on the west coast of Africa. You understand? So you can always refer to that if you want to prove that black people are not African. Go ahead.
Salaki. And that make perfect sense of how they captured us too. Because we stuck out like a sore thumb.
Exactly. The Africans knew who we was because what we was doing, how successful we was. And then they also show you who we are about. We still doing those things now. You understand? Like I mentioned earlier, your Michael Jacksons and your Michael Jordans and all of them, yeah, they be going out because they in the world. They wasn't taught the laws, but show me your African Michael Jordan. Show me an African LeBron James, right, or African who invented the stoplight. Right. You understand? You ain't finding no Africans doing nothing that's known worldwide, but you can find Negroes all over the place that invent things that's worldwide and they known worldwide. You understand? That's because Africans and black people are two different people. You understand? So with that, y'all got any more questions?
Like in the Apocrypha, how can you isn't American in the Apocrypha?
Yeah, it say Ozark. It don't say America. What was your question though?
Like where is it?
Ozark? Yeah, second Ezra 13. 44.
So that's the only thing that it talks about as far as tribes coming over here?
Yeah. Yeah, and then you got of course you got the Genesis 49 and you got Deuteronomy 33. It tell you about all the tribes, you understand, where they will be in the last days. Kantazai, he usually do a breakdown every once in a while, breaking down all the 12 tribes. You understand? Especially the Native Americans, especially the people who native to the Americas. Like they got more archaeology than us, than Judah. You understand? The Native Americans, they got plenty of archaeology over here proving that they Israel. Go ahead.
They easier to prove than Judah.
Yeah, hell yeah. All we got is the damn slave trade.
Yeah.
They got stones and, you understand, stones and speaking Hebrew and fringes and all of that. Go ahead.
Their skill set identifies them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they build, when they got over here, they got pyramids over there, they got mounds.
Exactly.
Built just like when they built it.
Exactly. Just like we built in Israel too. They tell you when the Maccabees, we had pyramids in Israel. You understand that we built over here as well. You understand? So with that, I'm gonna go in the class. Unless y'all got any more questions. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Pass the class over to priest and officer in the shop.
We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. This is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, 8 to 10, means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like, upcoming holy convocations, Passover, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's coming up. Let's see. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headscarf.
All right. That, you can get over.
Majid Shabbat, Barak.
Yajimata.
Yajimata, Classy Smith.
It's a wild class, y'all. Wow. I like it.
So
I feel like it was short.
What?
Down there.